Thanks for joining us today. Hope you're doing well. Come on with us to James chapter 1. James 1 at verse 22, it says, "But be doers of the word and not hearers only, deceiving yourselves." I wanted you to think about that idea of deceiving ourselves and how that happens, what it looks like. One way that it happens that James speaks about is we do not lay aside sin like we should. We think that we can be a servant of the Lord, but still continue to sin that grace may abound. That's simply not how it works. Verse 21 speaks about that very thing. We have to lay aside all wickedness. If we don't do that, we're deceiving ourselves. The verse also says we need to receive with meekness the implanted word that is able to save our souls. Sometimes people receive an imposter seed, or they don't receive the right seed. You might think about things that were happening in the first century. People were trying to keep the old and the new covenants, and that could not happen. The old was obsolete, ready to vanish away. It was nailed to the cross. What we have to do is we have to obey, look into the perfect law of liberty, talking about the law of Christ. We also might think about man's creeds. We also might think about man's books. The verse says, receive with meekness the implanted word. If we don't receive the word, or if we receive something in addition to the word, we're deceiving ourselves. We also have to have meekness, though. The verse says, receive with meekness. Sometimes people have an agenda when they're studying the Bible. We have to humble ourselves. We have to let the Lord mold us. But we do have to receive it. We cannot just let the word lie on the surface of the dirt, if you will. We have to receive it, is what we have to do in our hearts, on our minds. Another way we deceive ourselves is when we think that works play no part in our justification. That is exactly what James 1 and 2 are talking about. When we think that what we do doesn't matter, a lot of folks out there think that works just don't matter, they're deceiving themselves. Something else, though, that James speaks about is when we are partial. If we do good to some people, but not to all people, then we're deceiving ourselves. Something else we could add to the list, though, James 1 earlier speaks about if we blame God for our trials and temptations, if we blame God for our sin, if we blame God for our problems, we are deceiving ourselves, is what we're doing. We need to bridle our tongue. It's the last thing I wanted to mention. The chapter, verse 26, talks about if we don't bridle our tongue, then our religion is useless because we have deceived ourselves. The tongue reveals everything. Hope you enjoyed this study. God bless you. Be a blessing to others. Hope to see you tomorrow.